Hey everyone, this is RST instructor Chris Tyler, and we are back with this week's tour analysis on the 2015 WGC Bridgestone Invitational champion, Irishman Shane Lowry. So congratulations to Shane for picking up a big win this past weekend. This week we are going to be focusing in on lag. I'm going to be showing you guys a checkpoint that you're going to be looking for in your backswing that in turn is going to lead to another checkpoint in your downswing that's going to help you get a lot more lag and a lot more speed down in the hitting area. Okay guys, so those of you that are joining us on our YouTube channel, and before I get started showing you guys a couple of these checkpoints, I'm going to go ahead and include a preview of a premium video that we have called the 9-3 lag building drills. This has been a fantastic video for a lot of our members that have gotten a lot of great results. And if you want to see this video in its entirety, then go ahead and click the link in the description below, or go ahead and click any of the annotations that pop up, and that'll take you directly over to where you can see that full video for free, no charge at all. And remember, if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button below. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those up, and I'll help you guys out as best I can. Now enjoy the review, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Okay guys, so as I said in the opener, we're going to be focusing in on a couple of checkpoints this week in the backswing and in the downswing that are going to help you understand if you're doing things properly in your downswing sequence to in turn help you build more lag into your swing, which you can then eventually turn into more speed down at the bottom. So what we're going to be looking for here, and this is a good tool to use on the site, guys, is the self-analysis tab. You can load in swings face on and down the line. You can load as many swings as you want. You can compare them to some of our model swings, or you can just do some simple analysis like I'm doing here today. This is a really valuable tool for those of you guys that are getting to work on your swing here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a few lines here. These lines will make a little bit more sense as I go further into the review. And this is just one of these angle tools that we have on the site, so you can see the number changing. Now I've got it zeroed out, so you can see that his foot line here, the camera is actually pretty level to the ground. And when we start to look at this first number, what we're going to be looking for, okay, so now his lead arm is now parallel to the ground. So you can see how these numbers start to change. Okay, so we're going to get it back to 0. So we're going to just assume that that's perfectly parallel to the ground at this point. Now the first checkpoint that we're going to be looking for in your golf swing here is this one right here, is the position of the club shaft as we get the lead arm parallel to the ground. So you can see that we're almost at a 90-degree angle here. Almost a perfect 90-degree angle. The club shaft, we don't have an excessive amount of wrist set. We don't have the club facing out in this direction. So we want to look at when the lead arm is about parallel to the ground, we want to have roughly a 90-degree angle between the club shaft and the forearm. All right, so I can move back down here into a takeaway position, and you can see when the club shaft is parallel to the ground, there's just enough wrist set just to support it. Okay, so that's a very, very good point here, is that you don't want to have a ton of set here. You don't want to see 90 degrees of angle when your hands are just outside your trail thigh. Okay, so that's one of the big misnomers of the golf swing, is that a lot of instructors tell you to set your wrist very early, but that's getting the golf club to move a good amount of distance, and it's getting your wrists and your arms to be the first thing that are loaded up. And your goal is that you want to load your body up first. You want to get things moving in the right direction. You want to start to build up some power, and then eventually you're going to transfer that into some speed. So at the completed checkpoint, what you're going to be looking for, or completed part of the takeaway, I'm sorry, is you're going to be looking for the club shaft to remain parallel to the ground. So that's just enough wrist set here just to support the club. So if we didn't have any wrist set here, the club would be kind of lagging down in here, and it would feel a little bit uncomfortable. So this wrist set, it's sort of a natural kind of an occurrence, but again, if you've noticed on camera that you've had too much, all right, or you have too little, then try your best to use this as a checkpoint to get it pretty parallel to the ground. Then as you're working up into the top part of your golf swing by rotating more, and adding a little bit of flexion. Now as you start to get your lead arm here parallel to the ground, you want to have about 90 degrees of set here. Okay, so you want the club shaft to be more vertical. Again, you don't want to see much more than this. If you see that you have a ton of wrist set here to where you've got this angle is now down to 45 degrees, then you're going to run the risk of starting to throw the club very early. And what I mean there is that going back to loading up muscle groups, if you load up a muscle group to its fullest range of motion, it's going to want to try and fire very early. All right, so plus, the big thing is that if we save ourselves some room in our wrists and we don't get them fully set or fully cocked, you're going to have some space to create some down cock when you start to shift your weight. Now that's providing that you keep your wrists very supple and very relaxed. And that's what he does very well here. So you're going to see this move now as he starts to finish his golf swing. You're going to see his wrists, continue to set just a little bit more. Okay, he's going to get him almost fully maxed out here, but you can see his weight is starting to shift over to his lead side here. Okay, you can see the weight starting to shift over to the lead side. Now, as he's going to start to sit left, and he's going to get his lead arm back to parallel to the ground, you're going to see a big increase in angle here. So between the club shaft, and let's actually measure it so you guys can see the difference now. Let me get that off the screen for us. We'll measure it. So this is now the new angle. You can see now we're down to about 43 degrees, so less than half of where we were when we were going in the backswing. So this is now, we've increased the angle. The hands and arms are starting to be pulled down into the hitting area by the lower body. And this is a great way to start to build lag into your golf swing, is that understanding where you need to have the positions of the golf club early on in the swing and not have things overdone, and allow yourself to be able to increase the amount of angle on the way down with weight shift and supple wrists. We've got a great video on the website that can help you out with that, guys. It's actually called the down cock and pump drill. I know a lot of you have probably heard me talk about that. And it's not a drill that I want you guys to overcook. You still need to have a lot of those things in place. If you haven't seen the using the wrists effectively and efficiently video, that's another good video that can give you some of the terminology that I talk about in some of these analysis. And these videos are going to be over here to the right-hand side of the video player on the website. Just go ahead and click the recommended videos tab. Those will all populate. And then move 3, the downswing. Those 3 videos together are going to give you a very good understanding on how you're going to build a very sharp-looking angle right here, like Shane Lowry has done. And in turn, he bombs the golf ball. He was averaging well over 300 yards this past weekend at Firestone. So congratulations to him again for a big victory. Also, I wanted to point out one thing I found funny when I was loading this video. I know that a lot of us have been to golf events in the past, and they always tell us to put the cameras away. But this guy back here got my attention. You can see that he was told to put his cameras away and sit down, and he waits, and then he takes a picture. It's funny to see some of these people, how excited they are to see some of these professionals. So anyways, guys, that's our game plan this week. Is we're going to be focusing in on lag, and now you've got a couple of good checkpoints that you can use. You're going to focus on making sure that you've got enough set at the takeaway just to keep it supported to where it's parallel to the ground. You are going to, when you see your lead arm getting to about parallel to the ground, you're going to make sure that you've got about 90 degrees of angle there between the club shaft and the forearm. And then you're going to allow for a little bit more set as you start to work and complete your backswing, and allow your transition to create more angle to start your downswing. And you'll be well on your way to having more lag and more speed than you ever have before. All right, guys, get out there, put it to use, and make it a great day.
To get lag, we need to keep these wrists really loose and soft, and let this club hinge back. Now, if I get really tight and I try to, hold this angle, what that's going to do is that's going to contract my wrist flexors. When I contract my wrist flexors, you can see it extends that angle of lag, and you're going to lose that angle. So one of the biggest keys is to make sure you keep your wrists nice and loose and soft. As you swing down, the heavy weight of the club head is naturally going to want to lag behind. So by this point, we understand why getting really tight with the forearm and the wrist can cause you to lose lag. But now we need a step-by-step process, some drills that we can work on to incorporate lag in your swing. And that's exactly what this video is. I'm going to go through starting out at very, very small steps and working you through a process until you're completing a full 9-to-3 drill, which is going to be the biggest key for you to creating lag in your swing, to really feel the heavy weight of the head. And that's going to be key in creating lag in your golf swing. So go ahead and start making some little mini golf swings just with your right hand only. As I'm doing this, I'm really feeling like I'm keeping my wrist and my forearm extremely loose and relaxed, and letting that club flow as I make these little tiny swings. So I don't want your arm going way back in a big backswing. I don't want you to try to get any power in this. It's not even really a golf swing at this point, as much as just feeling the weight of that club head and keeping the wrist nice and loose and relaxed. Because this feels like a lot of lag, and you'll even see some instructors on YouTube and those kind of places trying to get you to get lag by doing that, but I think we can all agree that from this position, wow, now my club's really coming from the inside, I'm way on my back foot, and now I'm gonna have to flip to get through impact correctly. So we definitely want that right arm to extend, be in a position of much more level shoulders as we go over in the level shoulders drill video, and then having that right arm go down toward the ball just as we would in the throw the ball drill. As long as the right wrist stays nice and loose, we can throw that ball as hard as we want to, and this club head's still going to lag behind. If the right wrist gets tight and we try to do the throw the ball drill, we're going to cast that club and lose lag.